So I'm back, and that has a double meaning. So for those of you who I've been talking to about some stuff, you know the other meaning. So Alex is back. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then just, this is another video, so in that sense I'm back. So I have like this play on words, sort of Shakespearean, double meaning, Englishy, intelligent thing going on. Alright? And I've also got a cowboy hat, so that makes me much more intellectually attractive. Sometimes I don't think before I talk, and then I'm already midway through a sentence, and then that's when I start to think, so then I just say words. But that's okay because I have a cowboy hat. See how that works? And if you don't like cowboy hats, then you can just close the video and please don't ever talk to me again, Mr. and or Mrs. Cowboy Hater, if that is your real name. Because if it is, then if any truth whatsoever is to be gathered from what your last name implies, then you hate cowboys, and I don't associate with racists. But chances are, if that is your real last name, that you didn't choose that last name because, you know, most people just inherit their parents' last name, so, or specifically the father. So somewhere along the line, someone in your family hated cowboys. So if it wasn't you, then I apologize for if I offended you. And also you should get your last name changed. So I really don't know why I'm wearing a cowboy hat. It has literally almost nothing to do with the video at all. And I've also probably spent a quarter of the video talking about it. I don't know how long the video is going to be, but probably around a quarter is talking about the cowboy hat already, and I'm still going. I did get this cowboy hat in Mexico, so since I really have no idea what I'm going to talk about, why not talk about Mexico? I went to Mexico in the summer. I think it was right after my last video, actually, so quite a while ago. I will share a few funny stories. There's this guy named Robert, okay? So Robert, if you're watching this, this is your shout out, your little Canadian to American interracial, don't know what that was, but this is a shout out, eh? It's gonna start snowing soon here, Robert. I don't think it snows where you are, and you are a lucky son of a gun. Yes. So, Robert, hey. And to everyone else, except for Paige, you have no idea who Robert is, or at least you've probably never met him. So, but I will tell you a funny story about Robert, as soon as I think of one. But I'm going to stop the video right now, like stop the camera, because I don't actually want to sit here and think in the video. But, actually, you know what, I'll cut it out afterwards, or if it's not that long, I'll just leave the thinking time in the video. Maybe I'll like fast forward it or something.
Okay, you know what, I just realized, okay. I have a video of Robert singing songs to me the last day before I left Mexico, like with a guitar and everything. It was really good. So, I'm going to probably upload that at the end of this video or something. As part of the video, I mean. So, then you'll all get to see Robert. But, yeah, Robert was great. Actually,
Brian didn't go to Mexico this summer, so Robert was my room buddy. He was my sleeping buddy this summer, and he was great, so I hope Brian never goes to Mexico again, as long as Robert's in Mexico. I don't even like Brian that much, anyway. But in Canada I do, so let's not all get confused and think Alex just hates Brian, because Brian's he's cute, so. Sometimes I just say things, see? That was one of those moments again. This video really had no point. I was just in a good mood and tired-ish, and last night I was going to make a video, but somebody, and you know who you are, said that I was not allowed to, or that wasn't probably their actual wording, but they basically told me not to go home and skip youth to make a YouTube video. And so, for that, I had two options. I could either, one, just get furious and just make a YouTube video full of rage and just never talk to said person again. But then I realized that maybe I should go with option B, because said person might be one of my best friends, gff-fl-fe, which doesn't actually make sense. But I'll put what that means in the link to that side, the info box thinger. Yes. And I always find it annoying in videos when people say, and they point over there, and that's really over there, but now I just did the same thing. So it's harder than it looks to point the opposite direction, then the screen is going to be, yes. Anyway, so I didn't make a video last night because of that person. But I'm making a video now with a cowboy hat, which I wouldn't have done last night because I didn't even, maybe I would have done it with a cowboy hat last night. I don't know. But I'm feeling spontaneous today. So I will tell you though about my trip to Veracruz. When I was in Mexico, I was staying in Mexico City. We went to Veracruz for I can't even remember, 3 or 4 days. And that was probably 3 or 4 of the most manliest days of my life. But in not an arrogant way, in just like a humble, I'm so manly kind of way. There was, like, the first day we were doing work, and it's like 40 degrees or something ridiculous, plus like humidity, so yeah, it was pretty hot. But I asked like what we were doing, because we knew we were going to be doing some sort of work there, and we didn't know what. And at the time, my Spanish wasn't that great, so I missed most of the explanation, so I didn't know what the purpose of everything was. But what I got out of it is basically like, we're digging a hole. Like, that's all I knew. And that's pretty much the whole thing. Like, there wasn't much more to it than that. We were just digging a hole and then throwing shells in the hole, because, you know, people cut their feet on shells or something. I don't even know. But we're digging a hole for the first few days and then filling in the hole for the last few days. It was ridiculous. But it's already, like, boiling out in the morning. So we've been out there for like 10 or 15 minutes, and all the guys that are shoveling with me are just, like, drenched in sweat. Like, completely and utterly and disgustingly drenched in sweat. The girls were painting the trees with, like, chalk stuff or something, and then there was also a group of people painting the house. There was this giant, ridiculously unstable looking piece of, like, a walkway, wooden walkway thing to reach higher up on the wall, and, like, it looked like someone just nailed together a bunch of pieces of wood randomly. But anyway, that thing was ridiculously heavy, and we never tried carrying it with more than 2 people. It was just me and Robert trying to, like, you know, just doing our thing, just being men. But it was probably like 1 trillion pounds at least, or maybe like 400. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not good with poundage. Let me think. 400. No, it couldn't have been 400, but almost. At least 50 pounds. I'm just saying. Anyway, no, it was heavy, and me and Robert carried it all the way over, and we were moving it around and stuff the whole time. And then this is like painting a house Mexican style. Like, who cares about safety? We got like bricks and pieces of wood and broken cement and all these things, and like stacked it up on top of each other, because the thing, when you stood it up, it would have just fallen over if anyone stood on it. So we had to lift it up and then put pieces of just random stuff underneath, and like it looked so unstable. So, but we figured if we could get me and Robert up on top, jumping up and down, you know, then the girls could stand on there and it would be fine. So me and Robert would, every time we moved it, we'd go up on top and just like move around a bit and see if it was stable enough, and it surprisingly never fell. But we figured let the guys fall if someone's gonna fall, because we don't want anyone like crying or anything, you know, women.